So this video is about our first year doing science as a homeschool family. So Thunder Boys Academy is starting science, and I just thought it'd be a fun time to hear from you guys. What is your favorite science memory? So if you can be thinking about it throughout this video, I personally loved going to the Omniplex, the Oklahoma City Science Center. It was huge. There was so much to explore. I enjoyed letting my big fro go when we would study static electricity, and we could put our hands on the little static ball and my hair would go all out. I also remember my mom, when I was in high school, she ordered a big box of cow's eyeballs and we dissected them in the kitchen. So homeschool science can be so much fun, and I'm really excited to get started with that with our boys. Bruce is going into first grade this fall, so we are super excited to start some focus on science. Our official curriculum that we intend to use for all of science doesn't start until a later grade. So this year we're just going to focus on going through some books that I found that highlight some of the scope and sequence that is usually covered for the early elementary years. So we have books about the weather, we have the books about solids, liquids, and gases, and then also books about some biology and basic so we have books about the weather, we have books about solids, liquids, and gases, and then we also have books about biology, some just basic books about biology. So I'm just going to go through this stack of books. During our reading time, we just read one of these a week and just rotate through them. So the first one we read is all about the weather, and we really enjoy this book. It's super easy, just a few words per page, and it goes over the different concepts of the weather, things like the different seasons and the different weather that you can expect in those seasons, what a cloud is, and what how rain is formed, the fact that it evaporates up into the clouds, and what clouds are made of, and how they're not light and fluffy like we kind of imagine them, but they're actually pretty heavy. So it's kind of fun to just kind of cover those topics with the boys and really discuss them during reading time. I do love this book. The one caution I have is that they do talk about it mentions the sun as being millions of years old or billions of years old, and our origins, we believe, the biblical creation account. So I just take that opportunity to remind the kids that the sun was created on day 4 of creation. So I would say whatever you choose for your science curriculum, it's easy to be able to, as long as, especially if you can preview it in advance, just to know what is coming up and those different conversation topics you may get to cover with your kids. The book we're going to start this next week is Chickens Aren't the Only Ones Who Lay Eggs. And so I love this book because it talks about all the different animals that lay eggs, and it talks about insects that lay eggs, just all the different life forms that lay eggs. And at the end we'll actually learn the name for animals that lay eggs. Chickens aren't the only ones. There's no more to discuss. Everyone who lays an egg is oviparous. So it'll be fun just learning more about the different types of animals. And there's a separate one, they even mention at the end of this book that later we're going to learn about they don't use the word mammals, because we'll learn that in the next book that we read. So moving along through our list of books, we also have Wow Weather, which I'm really excited, especially honestly, about the tornadoes, since we live in Kansas, kind of giving the boys a better understanding. They started to understand storms, of like when the cold and the hot air collide, and how that creates the thunderclaps that we hear and the lightning. So it's really neat as they get just a better grasp and understanding of it. I think that they're less terrified by tornadoes and less terrified by bad weather, and have just a greater understanding and appreciation for it. So I'm really excited. We haven't read this one yet, but this is in our list. And again, it's nice because it's not too many words. This is just basic introduction to things like weather and biology, and then our next book covers solids, liquids, and gases, and this is just a basic one. I love the fact that it just talks about how ice is frozen water, and when it melts it turns into a liquid, or and it'll go through, so we'll be able to tell the different forms of water, that H2O, that it can be frozen and be a solid like ice, or that it can be steam and be a gas, or it can be water in its liquid form that we drink. So I'm really excited for the kids to get to focus on the different forms. And this is the Mammals book, Animals Born Alive and Well. And I'm really excited again just for them to learn about those topics and learn about the other mammals that bear their children alive, and get to see those pictures, and even some aquatic mammals. So I'm really excited about that. And I mean, just in general, school is super exciting with the boys because they are just so excited to learn. Then we have the Everything Weather book from National Geographic Kids. And this one is fun. It has facts and photos that'll blow your mind. So I'm really excited for them to see things like, the huge waterfalls or weather extremes, hurricanes, and understanding kind of what those entail, how they're rated, the different levels of hurricanes. So again, we'll read this book for about a week straight. It'll go back into the cycle and we'll read it a few different times. So they'll just get more and more familiar with time. This is another book about liquids, solids, and gases. Many kinds of matter, a look at solids, liquids, and gases. So this will be fun for them again, just talking about the differences between liquids, solids, and gases, and how we use them in our everyday life. So I think just reiterating and strengthening what we learned in the previous book, and just continuing that conversation. They're really excited with our garden to talk about plants and flowers, the reason for a flower, and talk a book about flowers, pollens, and seeds. And Bruce actually got his first bee sting last year, and so they've not been very fond of bees, but understanding their place in nature and how they help with plants, that's going to be super fun, talking about the roots, the different parts of the plants. So we're excited to read these. And also kind of how that ties in with the rest of biology. Animals who don't like meat are called herbivores, and so they'll learn those sorts of things. Just, again, a real solid base for their science knowledge. Our next science book, I'm really excited because it says it includes experiments, and the boys are really looking forward to the experiments too. But it's the Everything Kids Weather book, from tornadoes to snowstorms, puzzles, games, and facts that make weather fun for kids. So this one, I think we'll just read it. Instead of reading the whole thing, we will read a little bit every day. And when we get to this book, I'm going to try and copy some of the worksheets, especially for the older boys to get to try out and enjoy. But this is just a fun one because, again, it talks about, it has games and puzzles, and it talks about all things weather. We're going to go through all these books throughout Bruce's first grade year, second grade, and third grade. I'm pretty sure our higher science curriculum starts in third grade as well, but it'll be neat as we kind of continue to review these and continue to do a few more of the experiments and such. The kids will get more and more familiar with these concepts. The next one is another one about experiments with solids, liquids, and gases. And I'm really excited again for them to get to have a hands-on approach for those and kind of continuing to build on what they've learned before, specifically to do those hands-on experiments for solids, liquids, and gases. Continuing with the general biology discussion, plants that never ever bloom, because again, flowers, fruits, those are the plants that we're really excited about, but also learning an appreciation for the plants that don't bloom and what kinds those are. It'll be fun to have that discussion. And last but not least, we will do a few experiments out of the Awesome Science Experiments book for kids. So really excited again for them to get to do some hands-on projects, and we'll just continue to cycle through those books, do a few more hands-on projects, and answer more questions, and just give them a firm base for their science knowledge. So as we head into an actual science curriculum, they actually have, first of all, some hangers to hang that information on in their brain and their knowledge closet, and then also they'll be able to build on that knowledge throughout the years. I will continue to monitor, what's expected of like a first grader or a second grader or a third grader, and make sure that we are incorporating those things into what Bradley and I have chosen to focus on the boys' learning. And I'm really excited about our first year in science. I would really love it if you could like this video, and obviously if you can subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos as they come out. But I'd love to hear from you. Any questions that you have, feel free to post them in the comments below, and I'll definitely check those out. And let me know your favorite science memory. What was your favorite thing you studied in science?